every comic book reader is exactly sure about what Marvel and DC need to do to quote unquote fix comics. But I would argue that actually comic book fans and fans of anything really don't know exactly what it is that they want. And even if they did, you wouldn't, when you got it, you wouldn't be happy with it. Now, that may be controversial. Some people may disagree. That's the beauty of this. That's the conversation we are here to have. Do comic book fans actually even know what they want?
Well, thank you for posing the question, Sean. I specifically remember asking for a different character to be the Swamp Thing elemental. And when we got Levi, you know what? I didn't like it. I know I asked for it, but I didn't really like it all that much. I
This sounds like an impression of one of the comments you would usually get on the YouTube.
I feel like I have the solution. Put me to write the book, and we'll know what to do because I know what I want. Just don't give it to me because I'll do it.
So what does Marco think about this? I'm with you, Sean. I think that consumers and fans of things don't quite know everything that goes into a comic or anything in fandom. Really, could be music, could be movies. And how could you if you're not doing it? And that's not a condemnation on fans at all. It's just there's so many moving parts with these things that it's hard to see the forest from the trees. And I think solutions, especially to comic books and superheroes, can seem very simple. You know, Spider-Man's a good example. It's, you know, like, oh, he just needs to be with Mary Jane and he needs to be happy and just have those comics. Those are what works. But we have proof that that's not necessarily the case every time. um, and it's not factoring like that fact that's factoring in creative. That YouTube comment, that tweet where a fan says they have a solution for something, that usually only is factoring in creative solutions. When in comics, there's so much more. There's editorial, there's money, there's uh, uh, just general like character stuff that is coming from top down. That I think even in the most meaning fans out there maybe don't really know what is best for books.
Well, and even if you look narratively, forget everything that comes from the company and surrounding it as a brand. Okay, Spider-Man gets with Mary Jane and he's with Mary Jane. Now what? Who's going to answer that?
That's a great,
What
yeah.
Whatever's going to happen isn't going to make the next guy happy.
That's a great point. Like, you will get the dopamine hit that you're looking for whenever Peter and MJ are together. Like, when that happens, you'll feel amazing and be happy. And that's cool. But so what?
And then Spider-Man will cease to exist.
I mean, that's really what it is because the story would need to end for it to be, you know, satisfactory. These things will be. Spider-Man will outlive everyone on this panel and everyone listening to this episode right now.
Everybody on the planet Earth.
Yeah, yeah. I bet you they have like Spider-Man playing on Omicron Persei 8 right now, just old reruns. But like the character and the idea of it will live in perpetuity. They're modern gods, and you can't really know what to do with the character because it needs to continue in perpetuity.
But again, even putting that aside, like, what would please an individual person is immaterial to what should objectively happen with the character. Like, who knew? Who could have said definitively, hey, Superman needs a kid? And if Superman gets a kid, then that's going to mean that all of a sudden everybody's going to fall in love with Superman. I don't know. And there could be some person on the internet at some point who suggested that Superman should have a kid, but the fact that that worked doesn't make that person right, because you have no idea how something is going to be received until it happens. And everybody can armchair quarterback, but you don't know shit.
Yep.
That's kind of the whole point. Go ahead, Cale.
And even if that person is right and they were consulted, what if their formula didn't work?
It's all like it's all like man, it's like alchemy. Like you just can't always know what's going to work, and you have to try stuff and do different things. And even if something works, it's not necessarily down to a formula or science. It's not scientific. It's not like Marvel knows for a fact that Spider-Man sales would double, let's say, if putting Mary Jane and Peter together again would if that would do that. Like, let's be really logical, right? Like, let's not be fans for a few seconds, right? Do you really think that Marvel would turn down all that money just to keep them apart? If that would really work?
Just to screw you over, Kevin, who lives in Ohio.
Right?
Yeah. If there was a magic number, we would be seeing the same shit over and over and over again.
I think if comics worked like that, where you could just like observe the audience specifically exactly and then do exactly what they say, the industry would be far worse to me.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
because I'm anti-fan. I am a fan. I love the audience. I love the people that are into this stuff, but people don't they, there's a reason why you're the viewer, or not the viewer, but the consumer.
And that's part of why I love being a fan too. Like, I don't want an armchair quarterback. I want to be able to read stuff like Ron V. Swamp Thing, something that would have never come into my brain because I don't have any of that lived in experience. And it comes out on paper and it freaking hits. And it opens me up to different ideas. That, sure, if I'm a fan, you know what I can do? I can make my own comic. If I really wanted to, I can do my own thing. And I think that's part of the inspiration that sometimes superhero comics can do. But I don't want to, dictate where, I don't know, where Iron Fist goes for the next 5 years.
Well, maybe you do. And in that case, you could be like Mark Waid, or you
Sure.
could be like
Yeah.
Al Ewing, or any number of people. I think even Peter David, whoever it is, right? These people that used to write in to Marvel and DC and say, "Hey, I don't like what you're doing with so and so character," or "I can't wait to see what happens with such and such." And then those people go on to tell the stories of those characters that they were writing in about 20, 30 years down the road. That could be you. And in that case, now you are the fan who gets to dictate what happens with the characters. But until then, stick to Twitter, kid.
Or like do your own thing. Like Eastman and Laird, they were big Miller Daredevil fans. Like, let me do something similar. Let's make them turtles, though. Yeah, it's more popular than Daredevil. Like the complaining, I think, is where I get issues. Complaining about it and like demanding that you're right. I think it works better when it's like, all right, here I might have an idea, but like I'm not the one writing it, so it doesn't matter if I do it or not.
But at that point, you're providing some kind of like critique about your opinion, outside of being like, if this way, then this would happen, or this positively would happen because this was part of my idea, when it's in service to your taste, versus talking about the construction of the book from a perspective of your taste.
And also, think about the fact that, Marvel and DC publish like, Marvel probably publishes like 80 books a month. DC probably publishes like 50 to 60 books a month, right? Every one of them needs a writer. And most of the time, the writer of X book wouldn't have come up with the ideas for Y book. You get the right tool for the job. Al Ewing gets work for books that fit his talents. You know, And if someone said to Al, hey, can you do Wonder Woman? Sure, he could write a Wonder Woman story, but it wouldn't be Tom King's Wonder Woman. And maybe he would say things about, oh, I would have done this differently or that differently. Well, that's cool, Al, but this is what Tom King is doing, right? Not that that's a scenario that ever took place. I'm just trying to illustrate that those people are being hired for their talents. And maybe they don't bat 100, but best believe that they're trying to do what they think is best. And anybody outside of that is just, armchair quarterback. It's not to say you can't like it. Of course you cannot like it. Could you do better? Probably not. Right?
Whoa, whoa. As entitled fan number 433, I could definitely do better than whatever V did on Swamp Thing. So,
Well, it's like that age-old saying goes. Those who can't do, or those who can do, do. Those who can't do, bitch. It's one of my favorite proverbs.
Second parentheses, 37. Yeah.
I'll trust you on that one, Cal.
I have to say, I'm a big fan of fans. I love fandom. I think it's great. But I think that collectively, we have to accept that a part of being a fan of something is turning over a very vulnerable part of you to other people to deliver on something for you to love. And I think it's okay to be let down. It's okay to be disappointed. And you're not always going to get what you want. But this is a medium that's not about one book at one time. It's about the long term, the long form. You're not necessarily going to love every book you read in a given week. And that's totally fine. It's the beauty of it. Shit. I'm a WWE fan. For 10 years, I mostly hated what was happening on Monday Night Raw. But you know what? I'm still here. And now I get to say I'm as happy as I've ever been with the product.
You got to sit through Roman Reigns getting dog food poured on his head.
Yes, I did. And that is kind of just the message. Love it, hate it, be there. We'll let you guys have the last word. Thank you so much for watching. Leave us a comment with your thoughts. Subscribe to the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, like the video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.